What's up, guys? Welcome to episode number 27 of 10K on the Bay, my journey to 10,000 active listings on eBay. Thanks for joining me. Please like and subscribe. Today I want to talk about growing your eBay store with 3 concepts from Kaizen or Lean Manufacturing from Toyota. And I'll just get straight into it and talk about the 3 things, but I just want to let you guys know that the format for my videos is going to be, in the future, the 3 tips up front followed by a live discussion afterwards. So if you're in a hurry, you can get the 3 tips to take action on in your store quickly, and then come back later if you want to listen to the discussion or just skip the discussion. But that's going to be the format that I'm going to do in the future. I think it's the best for all the different people who are reaching out to me. So step number 1 from Toyota is the concept of cellular production. So as you guys know, I'm trying to create a U-shaped workstation for my workers so that they can test electronics, they can measure clothing, they can research home goods in that same area without moving. And the reason that I'm doing that is because it's a waste of energy and time for them to walk around in different areas of their workspace. I want all the supplies, all the tools, all the testing, a TV there for the electronics, measuring tapes for clothing. I want, a desktop or a monitor set up so they can easily research soles. I want all that in one area. And then I'd like to give every single lister for me the same U-shaped area. Now, am I creating competition for myself because they could go home and create their own cell? Probably, but that's okay because I only need 4 to 6 people working for me to achieve this goal. And I just want to give a quick disclaimer for people who are just starting on eBay. In just the 6 months that I've been sort of looking at this, and especially the last 3 months since I started this 10K journey on January 9th, I have seen the prices of clothing go down. Just one, because of the spring slowdown, but it can't be a coincidence that most of the reseller channels I see on YouTube are talking about reselling clothing. If it's the same as every other market, when people disclose that there's a profitable niche, a bunch of people run there for the gold rush. So I think if you're just getting started now with clothing, you're at a huge disadvantage, especially if you are not trying to do scale. Like me, I think I'm actually okay because I see the USPS postal rates going up a second time this year. I think that's been announced. And I also see eBay fees going up, not down. So I can't confirm that, but in my experience, everything gets more expensive over time. If you look at Amazon, they're making it harder and harder for new sellers to get onto the platform. And I think that's going to be the case with eBay, especially in niches that are flooded like clothing. So if I've only been doing this for 3 months and I've seen the prices of clothing go down, then I think it's going to be even tougher for people who are just starting. This is why I have 30 different categories and I'm doing the continuous improvement. And this is why I don't share my 3 eBay stores, because I don't want people copying me just for the sake of business. So okay, the next concept is standardized work. So I have 4 listers right now that I just picked off of Craigslist. The cost of listing is actually pretty low for me. It's only $2 per listing. So I can experiment with creating standardized work. I don't know the proper way to do listing. I just started this sort of like mass listing journey a few months ago. So I'm still learning myself. So I am allowing my 4 contractors to list how they want to list, with the goal of getting to an average of 10 listings per hour. Now, that's what I would like them to get to, but secretly I'm okay with 6 listings per hour and less defects. But I'd like them to make $20 an hour if possible, and I'm paying $2 per listing. So I think 6 is a comfortable pace. Even as a beginner, you can do 6 listings per hour. If you're more, intermediate to advanced, you could get to, 6 to 10. If you're a whiz, you can do more than 10. And I'm talking about from pile on the floor to polybag. So for me, the listing process includes getting it all the way to the point where it's ready to be shipped. And I know there are some people that don't polybag items or store them in the shipping container. That's perfectly fine. I don't have the time necessarily to package things when I'm shipping them out. I'm trying to keep my shipping time to under 1 hour. So that's why I put that part of the work onto the listers. And again, if I was doing this myself, I'm not sure if I would pre-package them because I'd want to get more listings up, and I would just handle the shipping part afterwards. So that's just an idea for standardized work. Once I figure out a process that I like, all my listings will look the same. They'll have all the same equipment. They'll do all the same A to Z to get it up. So as I'm learning, I just want them to focus on one concept, which is the third tip, which is one-piece flow. So I think this is super important. When I first started, I was taking items from my car. They were stored in the garage, the kitchen, my bedroom, in the laundry room. I had stuff all over the place. It was 100-piece flow, not one-piece flow. And so I've changed to, or I'm trying to change so that it goes from the back of my car onto a processing table. And from the processing table, if I was going to list myself, that table would be part of the U-shaped area where I list, photographed, describe, research, and into the poly bag, and I'd have it be right next to where my car pulls up in my garage. So I'd back my car in right here, and the U-shaped workstation would be right here, and my storage would be right here. So it'd be like all in one piece from my car straight into a storage bin to get ready. Instead of moving it into my house, into my kitchen, all over the place, or for example, buying clothing that has a stain on it, and then I've got to wash it, and then having to bring it to the laundry room. I'm just skipping that whole part. I'm not buying clothing that has defects for the most part. Sometimes I get stuck with it, and I'm finding it much faster to redonate it or list it in damaged condition than actually try to repair it. So that's the concept of one-piece flow, and that's why I'm going to try and do that. The worst case scenario, and I'll just give you an example that I think has happened to me, where I buy an item, I didn't describe it properly. So somebody says, hey, can you give me the model number of this amp? And I'm like, okay. I didn't take my time when I was listing it, so I didn't include the model number. So somebody had to ask me. So I had to go back to the item, find the model number, go back to my desk, answer that question, right? And then the customer said, okay, no problem. And they asked a different question. So I had to go back to it for a second time and get that information when that stuff is pretty standard for amps. I should have put those information things in the description when I originally did it. So anyway, I think it went from my living room to my bedroom also. At that point, I was storing it in 2 different places. After that, it finally sold. So it's sold. I took it to a different area to package it to get ready for shipping. And then I sent it, and then the customer returned it. So it was like I touched that item 20 different times. There wasn't like a one-piece flow where it just smoothly went in and out. And that's what I'm trying to figure out with Lean. And this is why Toyota doesn't hire people who are in a hurry. They like slow, smooth growth. And that's what I'm really trying to go towards. Not necessarily getting to 10,000 listings the fastest, but more of like a smooth growth to that. And of course, business isn't smooth, life isn't smooth, but ideally, I'm learning how to slow down and just try to work out this process. Now, the only thing that I'm doing that, I'll admit it is impatient having 4 different people do it. It's just because I'm not that experienced with clothing. So I'm having 4 women who are much more experienced with clothing sort of teach me how to do it. So I don't know if that's worth it, but again, I'm in the items so cheap that I have room for error. I mean, I can't even tell you how bad some of the listings that I put up that still sell. And I think it's just because of the traffic of my store. I now have over 2,000 items, and there's just people in my store looking around. I don't know how to increase traffic to your store right now. I'm still learning the different ways to do social media or cross promote or feature different sellers in your box. Learning all this stuff, but for right now, the only way I can increase traffic is just increasing the number of listings in my store. So if you guys have any questions, please comment below or send me an email at 10K on the Bay. Please like and subscribe and share this in your favorite Facebook groups. Have a great Easter.